Are we at all concerned with Hanifin leaving and Lindholm staying? I feel like we're getting into the halfway in, halfway out scenario if that happens.
I'll say this: centerman harder to replace. That said, minute-eating, fleet-footed defenseman hard to replace.
Mid-20s.
I need to know what you're getting back in a trade. If it's as impressive a return as everyone's, oh, this is, you're gonna, okay, but yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm kind of 1 foot. I just feel if the cap's going up and you've got all these guys that all you hear is, oh, they're in cap hell and they're humping the ceiling of the salary cap. Well, here's your opportunity. What you don't have is a farm system that's just drunk with prospects. You don't have a tremendous draft pick this year, but it's halfway through in a good draft. Everyone tells you how good a draft this is. Maybe you just take the cap space. If it's not worth trading, guys, if no one's going to give you anything for Tanev, and I think for both Tanev and Toffoli, you wait closer to the deadline, which again, you're running the risk of them both getting injured. But I don't know. I feel like the other guys, if you're moving them, you got to get it done in the next week to 10 days. It's got to be done before the draft. But maybe you just wheel everybody out and take that cap space and you sit tight and watch everybody else blow their freaking brains out, because they will. How many teams, when they get that cap money in a year's time, are going to be, well, let's just, you know what, let's keep our powder dry and let's be responsible with this. No, it's just, hey, more money at the candy store. They're going to blow it. I don't know. I just don't.
Well, and again, it's hard because this team confuses you, because 2 years ago, first place, last year, no playoffs. What are we dealing with?
I know.
But that's why I like well, I keep saying it because I think it would be fun. Mold your own team, Conroy.
Yeah.
Don't continue to do this. Try to make the playoffs, just get in kind of thing. And if Hanifin's
I know. Now, you have Weegar, and I think, and we talked about it with the coach last week, and you've talked about it. I think you hope that the Weegar you saw in the last 2 months or so of the season, you hope that's the guy. And you've got Rasmus Anderson, and you hope that Shillington can come back. There's going to be some rust. He's not going to step right in, but you hope he's somewhere in the neighborhood, something resembling that player when he left. You're not crippled on the blue line.
Well, again, that's huge. If the Shillington can come in and be a top 4, he only did it for 1 year. Yeah. And we were shocked when he did do it. That's my fear. Is that, okay, well, if you only got Weegar and Anderson, it's a drop-off. Mm-hmm. Tanev, we all love Tanev. Be healthy? Sure. Yeah. Okay. Tanev's good. Just not convinced that's going to be the case. Zadorov, not truly a top 4 defenseman. Good defenseman, like how he plays, but there's issues if you're having to play him 20 plus minutes a night for any extended period of time. Like Stetcher, I liked. Is he going to come back? I don't know. But if Shillington isn't a top 4, you're in trouble. Well, and you get rid of Hanifin, then you're in trouble.
What dollar figure are you okay paying Noah Hanifin?
I mean, off the top of my head, it's an 8.
I think there's enough guys. You hear it all the time about Nurse and Seth Jones making that 9.5. Like, I don't think he's 9.5, but because that's the other thing.
Nurse and Seth Jones both, even though I think it was coincidental, they both were at a point in their careers. They're at one point in their careers, they were having a season where people were talking about Norris Trophy candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Hannafin's never had that. So I don't think it's 9.5, but
that whole the salary cap thing going up is going to be a major wrinkle, because I think as a GM, even though you don't have the cap space right now, you're going to have to. I think you're going to be negotiating under the pretense that it's the percentage of the cap. What is everybody's percentage of the cap?
Yeah,
you're not going to be talking about this year's cap. You're going to be talking about next year's, because that's when that raise is going to kick in. So you're spending money you don't even have yet. And it's another year down the road. And I don't worry about that with Hanifin, because he's still young. I mean, if you're a defenseman, so I wonder if that's which way you go. Which one are you more loath to lose? Lindholm or Hanifin?
Honestly, it's why I brought it up. If you're keeping one, you should keep two, because to me, you're sending a mixed signal to your team. Like, I don't think you can afford to lose Hanifin if you're keeping Lindholm. Like, if you're keeping Lindholm or Hanifin, that means that you're in it to win now, right? Yeah. Even though they're young enough that they'll last longer, and especially Hanifin is. But I just think that that's just you're going anyway. That's why I brought it up. I was confused. I'm confused because I don't want to be halfway. I don't want the Flames to be stuck halfway, and I feel like that's putting them in a position where they are going to be halfway. You lose Hanifin, you keep Lindholm. Doesn't that mean you're still going for it?
Yeah.
So that probably means that your trade, what you're moving out for Hanifin, is an immediate fill a need kind of scenario. But how do you move out one 26-year-old defenseman that plays 23 minutes a night for another?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be getting that, right?
Right.
You'd be getting something else, and you'd have to find a way to split those minutes up, and you hear it all the time. The thing that scares me about that is, if you go Hanifin and Lindholm, okay, you're set. But now you have got a lot of money. You've got 4 guys in Kadri, Huberdeau, throw Uyghur in there. You talk about the Fab Five. Those are your guys. And if you think that nucleus of guys are going to take you to a Stanley Cup, then let's go. But if you feel like those are good players, but we missed the playoffs, and yes, there was extenuating circumstances, and we don't know what this team looks like if you have a Huberdeau that gets 100 points, 80 points, 90 points. You don't know. But I think it's kind of a hard sell to me. When you look around the league, teams that have huge money committed to 2, 3, 4 guys, I think there's better groups out
match
there
up the Fab Five.
I know, right?
To other teams' Fabs Fives and go. Okay.
It's so much easier said than done, but I keep watching. You say it all the time. It's a young man's league. I would have a hard time right now locking in to guys for that kind of term. And especially Hanifin's young, but like you said, Hanifin is a good NHL defenseman. He really is. But it's
wow. It doesn't sound like it's up to Craig or anyone else anyway. Because if he's giving you a clear directive that I'm not coming back, well,
yeah.
But that's the point I'm getting at, is if Hanifin's not coming back, does it indicate that you should start exploring different direction with your team? As far as Lindholm and Backlund and Toffoli and all the other guys.
At a certain point, the team tells you what they are, right?
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, you won a playoff round, albeit overtime of Game 7. But you won a playoff round, and then you got whooped pretty good in round 2. And this year, you missed the playoffs. The team will send you messages and tell you what it is. And it's not an old group, but there's some older pieces to it all of a sudden. I just look at the league, and you saw Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Vancouver has 8 years of dead money on its cap to buy that guy out. Teams just they thirst for the ability to clear cap space. Let's hear. You can get younger and have all the cap space almost as you'd want, with those guys coming off the books in a year's time. It's intriguing to me to get younger and have cap space.
Me too.